So there are some huge updates for Dogecoin and other cryptos coming from the US government, and I think this is exactly what every holder needs to see. So as per the latest reports, the Biden administration is now preparing to release an initial government-wide strategy on digital assets, including cryptos. And the strategy is being drafted as an executive order, and the senior administration officials have held multiple meetings on the plan. Moreover, the finalized executive order is expected to be on President Joe Biden's desk in the coming weeks, and it is expected that the strategy could be released as soon as next month. And the main agenda of this crypto strategy is likely to be about economic, regulatory, and national security challenges posed by cryptos. And it will direct various federal agencies to weigh in with their assessments of crypto's risks. So this is kind of a make or break situation for Dogecoin and other cryptos. And since the US government is trying to examine the risks that crypto poses to them, I think we may hear some bad news once this strategy is finalized. And this can be bad for crypto holders and the crypto market. However, I think that there is some silver lining here. So official reports have also revealed that some of those tasks for these federal agencies will be meant to ensure that the US remains competitive as the world increasingly adopts cryptos. And then they will be asked to submit reports of their findings in the second half of 2022. And this means that the US government is not only looking for risks posed by cryptos, it is also exploring the opportunities cryptos present. And although it appears that this update is bad for cryptos, I think the good thing to note here is that the US government is focusing on cryptos. And I think that this upcoming crypto strategy for Biden can be positive for the crypto market. This is because it is apparent that the government doesn't want to leave behind the growing adoption in cryptos throughout the world. And although they will also consider the risks involved in it, it is now highly likely that the US government is going to take a more positive approach towards cryptos. And now there is another huge update for Doge and other cryptos that I think you should see. But I'll come to it later. Let's first see the current crypto market positions. So we are now seeing that after showing some signs of recovery, the crypto market is back in the red again. In fact, we can see here that some cryptos are dropping more from here. Notably, Bitcoin and Ethereum have dropped significantly. And we can see that Bitcoin has fallen below the 35K price level, while Ethereum is trading near the 2K level. So things are starting to get ugly again for the crypto market. And if we come to the overall market sentiment, it is still in the extreme fear zone. And we can see here that the crypto fear and greed index is still at the same level, and we saw the crypto crash last week. However, it was expected that the market could see another sell-off after the recent crash. And as I explained in my previous videos, we can't expect a major recovery until the upcoming Fed meeting on the 26th of January. So we have to wait for this meeting and see what unfolds. And if we see some good news, then I believe that the market will start a recovery phase during the coming weekend. So let's wait and see how things unfold. And now let's come to Dogecoin's price and see what is happening with it. So we can see here that Doge has yet again gone below the 14 cents price level. And although it traded positively the other day, it has now come under immense market pressure. And this is why we are again seeing it moving to the downside. However, some positive news for Doge and its holders is that Doge has returned to the list of top 10 cryptos in terms of market cap. And it has claimed this position for the first time in almost 2 months. And I think it is a positive thing for Doge because it is showing us that despite this ongoing market sell-off, Doge holders are not losing their ground, and they are still holding their Doge. And this shows us that they are bullish about Dogecoin over the long term. And I think they are doing the right thing because the long-term outlook for Doge is still bullish. And as far as the short-term outlook is concerned, I think that Doge will start a recovery if we hear something good after the Fed meeting. And while we are waiting for this upcoming Fed meeting, let's see some other updates. So despite unclear or even lack of regulation and taxation of cryptos in Turkey, Turkish citizens are now increasingly using cryptos and NFT amid high inflation. And we can see here that during the fourth quarter of 2021, the Turkish lira crashed from 9 to 18.5 liras per dollar in the 6 weeks leading up to mid-December. And then it started strengthening to as high as 10 liras and then falling back to 13.87 liras as of now. So this is showing us that the Turkish lira is a highly volatile asset, and this is rising inflation in the country. And high inflation tends to devalue cash and drive investors, including major professional and institutional investors alongside top hedge fund managers, to invest their money in cryptos. So the point is that Bitcoin and other cryptos usage in Turkey increased 11-fold. And this is pointing us towards the fact that the Turkish government is going to regulate cryptos in the country, considering high demand from investors. And talking about crypto regulations, we are now seeing that companies that let consumers buy, borrow, and trade cryptos are vouching for crypto regulation in the US. And they have made it clear that state regulators should take coordinated action to regulate crypto-related investment products and exchanges offering unregistered securities. They have also stated that state regulators are not scrutinizing crypto itself in the recent enforcement actions. Instead, they are targeting the technological innovations that are spurred by Bitcoin and others. So I think this is a valid point, and I think that regulators need to comprehensively regulate crypto-related investment products. And since there is rising demand for it, I think regulators will regulate these assets sooner or later. And now, as promised, let's come to the big news coming from Russia. So we know that there was some bad news coming from Russia recently, and the Central Bank of Russia talked about the potential ban on cryptos in Russia. And as I talked about it before in my previous videos, this news was one of the main reasons behind this market-wide sell-off. However, I talked about why this was not big news, and how we saw that some market manipulators used it to artificially create this crypto crash. And now it appears that this proposed ban isn't universally accepted in the country. And we are now seeing that Russia's recent statement about banning crypto has drawn criticism from a number of big names, including Alexei Navalny's chief of staff, Leonid Volkov, and Telegram founder Pavel Durov. And Pavel Durov has stated that the proposed ban on crypto would destroy a number of sectors of the high-tech economy, and believes that such a ban will inevitably slow down the development of blockchain technologies in general. And since these technologies improve the efficiency and safety of many human activities, from finance to the arts, they should not be banned. So the point is, market leaders are very much against this ban on cryptos in Russia, and this is why I think that Russia will never do so. And now let's come to Bitcoin for a minute. So as I stated before, the overall crypto market has fallen yet again, and this is why we are seeing that Bitcoin is struggling, and it has gone below the 35K mark. And I'd again like to remind you here that we may see Bitcoin even going down from here. But things can turn out to be much better after the upcoming Fed meeting, so we have to wait for it. But there are still some positive things for Bitcoin even during this price drop. So we can see here that the exchange whale ratio for Bitcoin is very high, and the top 10 hourly deposits in each exchange took 90% of total inflows. And there is a lot of inflows into the exchanges for Bitcoin right now. And we can see here that when there is a bull market, this top 10 transaction and top total inflows indicator sit below 85%. And when there is a bear market, then this indicator goes over the 85% level. And right now, we are seeing that this indicator has just flashed 90%. So if this indicator stays above 90, then this is going to indicate that we are in a bear market. But there is a strong likelihood that this indicator will go below 85% in the coming days. And this is why I believe that we are going to see a reversal for Bitcoin very soon. And another thing is that if we look at the long-term holder SOPR, it has spiked. And this means that some of the long-term holders tried to sell Bitcoin before last week's crash, and they sold it and capitulated on it. And this is another reason why we are seeing that Bitcoin went down overall. However, the thing to note here is that these holders sold their Bitcoin prior to the crash in order to buy the dips and make some revenue. And now, since Bitcoin has crashed, they are going to accumulate Bitcoin yet again. While this is good for Bitcoin, it also shows us how market makers have produced this fake crash. And now if we come to Dogecoin, we can see here that its price correlation with Bitcoin is very high. And since we have just seen that Bitcoin is likely to initiate a reversal after the Fed meeting, Doge will follow suit.